Have you ever heard about a mystery so strange, so deeply unsettling, that even the scientists studying it are forced to say, "We don't know what this is"? Tonight, you're not going to hear about legends, folklore, or urban myths. You're going to hear about real phenomena, measured, recorded, investigated by serious researchers, and still completely unexplained. These are the mysteries that keep scientists awake at night. Welcome to Dark Curiosity Hub. Let us begin. Our first mystery begins in a quiet desert town, Taos, New Mexico. In the early 1990s, some residents started reporting something strange. Not a loud noise, not a siren, but a low, constant hum, always there, especially at night. They described it as like a distant diesel engine idling somewhere, right beyond reach. But when they went outside to look for it, there was nothing. No factory, no machinery, no trucks, no airport. Engineers assumed it was a simple case of noise pollution, so they came with equipment, highly sensitive microphones, vibration sensors, electromagnetic detectors. They tested inside homes, outside on the streets, in the open desert around Taos. The result? They picked up ordinary background noise, but not the specific hum that people were complaining about. Even stranger, only about 2% of the population could hear it. To them, it was maddening. Some reported insomnia, headaches, anxiety, a feeling of pressure inside the skull. To everyone else, there was complete silence. Researchers from universities, government labs, and independent groups all tried to track it. They mapped where people heard the hum, checked underground gas lines, power substations, military activity, radar installations, even possible low-frequency radio transmissions. Nothing matched. Some experts suggested it might be a kind of auditory hallucination shared by sensitive people. Others theorized about very low-frequency sound waves traveling through the ground or atmosphere in ways we don't fully understand. But decades later, there is still no agreed-upon explanation, no confirmed source, no replicable signal, just a persistent, invisible pressure in the ears of a few, and a long list of scientific reports that end with the same conclusion: cause unknown. In a remote valley in central Norway lies the small community of Hessdalen. Beginning in the early 1980s, people there started witnessing something extraordinary. Lights, not airplanes, not meteors, not satellites, but floating balls of light that moved across the night sky in ways that, to this day, do not fit any known physical model. These lights appeared as white, yellow, or blue orbs. Sometimes they hovered silently above the valley. Sometimes they moved slowly, then suddenly accelerated, changing direction in ways that would destroy any human-made aircraft. The sightings became so frequent that scientists decided to turn the valley into a natural laboratory. They installed radar systems, spectrometers, electromagnetic sensors, multiple high-resolution cameras. This became known as Project Hessdalen, and what they recorded made the mystery even deeper. On radar, the lights behaved like solid objects. Their speed changed abruptly. In some cases, they went from standing still to high velocity, with almost no transition. On camera, the lights sometimes appeared as glowing spheres, other times as elongated shapes, like streaks of plasma that pulsed and flickered. Spectral analysis, breaking the light into its component wavelengths, showed signatures that didn't match simple flames, car headlights, or ordinary plasma. They seemed to have structured patterns of energy, as if something was maintaining them. Scientists proposed theory after theory. Rare atmospheric plasma, piezoelectric effects from stressed rocks, unknown ionospheric phenomena, secret military experiments. None of these fully explain the stability of the lights, their sudden changes of speed, their long duration, or the fact that they appear in the same valley over and over for decades. One researcher, after years of fieldwork, admitted, "We have measurements, we have data, we know the lights are real, we just don't know what they are." And that is exactly what terrifies the scientific mind. On August 15, 1977, at the Big Ear Radio Observatory in Ohio, a telescope was quietly scanning the sky. Its job was simple: listen for radio signals from space and log anything interesting. Most of the time, it heard nothing special, just background noise, static, the universe humming softly. But that night, something different came through. A burst of radio energy, narrow, focused, extremely strong. It lasted exactly 72 seconds. When astronomer Jerry Amon later reviewed the computer printout, one sequence of numbers and letters jumped off the page. It was so strong and so anomalous that he circled it in red and wrote a single word in the margin: "Wow." From that moment on, it became known as the WOW signal. What made it so incredible? First, it appeared in the frequency range that many scientists consider the most logical for an interstellar message, a quiet region of the spectrum, often called the water hole. Second, it did not match any known human-made transmission. It wasn't a satellite, it wasn't a plane, it wasn't a terrestrial radio source. Third, it came from a very specific direction in the sky, near the constellation Sagittarius. Researchers tried to detect it again. They pointed telescopes at the same patch of sky. For days, months, years, nothing. The signal never repeated. Some proposed natural explanations: comets, hydrogen clouds, or some rare cosmic event, but none matched the exact shape and strength of what was recorded that night. To this day, the WOW signal remains a single, isolated event in the history of astronomy. No beginning, no follow-up, no pattern, just one moment when the universe may have whispered something into our instruments and then fell silent again. And the most uncomfortable part for scientists is this: we might have heard a message, and we have absolutely no way to know who or what sent it. Some scientific mysteries are not found in the sky or in deep space, but inside the human mind. In the summer of 1518, in the city of Strasbourg, then part of the Holy Roman Empire, a woman walked into the street and started to dance. There was no music, no festival, no celebration, but she danced, not for minutes, for days. She tried to stop. Her body refused. People watched in horror as her feet bled and her movements became more violent, more desperate. And then others joined her. Within a week, about 30 people were dancing uncontrollably. Within a month, the number had grown to around 400. They danced until they collapsed. Some reportedly died from exhaustion, stroke, or heart failure. Historical records confirm the event. It is not a legend. City authorities were terrified. They consulted doctors who blamed hot blood, a vague medical concept of the time. The solution: they organized musicians, built a stage, and encouraged the dancers to keep going, hoping they would dance the illness out. It didn't work. Centuries later, scientists tried to understand. Was it ergot poisoning, a toxic fungus found in rye that can cause hallucinations and convulsions? Possibly, but ergot usually causes chaotic, uncoordinated movements, not hundreds of people dancing in roughly the same way. Was it mass psychogenic illness, a kind of collective psychological breakdown triggered by stress, fear, and superstition? Maybe, but no modern case of mass hysteria has ever reached that level of physical endurance over so many days, with people literally dancing to death. The dancing plague of 1518 remains one of the most disturbing intersections between neurology, psychology, and social behavior. It suggests that, under extreme pressure, the human brain and body can enter states that modern science still struggles to map, describe, or predict. If it happened once, could it happen again? That's the question that quietly unnerves historians and neuroscientists alike. In 1997, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, NOAA, detected something that should not exist. Their underwater microphones, placed thousands of meters deep in the Pacific Ocean, suddenly captured a sound so loud, so powerful, that it echoed across sensors more than 5,000 kilometers apart. The signal was brief, just a few seconds, but it was unlike anything ever recorded. Scientists named it the Bloop. At first, NOAA thought it might be ice breaking off Antarctica, a massive chunk collapsing into the sea. But there was a problem. Even the largest ice quakes ever recorded were tiny compared to the Bloop. The amplitude, the intensity, the rapid rise of the frequency. It all resembled something else entirely, a biological sound, a call, but to produce something that loud, the creature would have to be larger than any animal that has ever lived, bigger than a blue whale, bigger than any known species on Earth. And so the theories began. Some said it was a deep-sea landslide. Others claimed it was tectonic activity. A few proposed volcanic resonance. But none of these explanations matched the frequency pattern. Only one category remained, an unknown living organism. Yet the location where the Bloop originated, deep in the southern Pacific, is one of the most unexplored regions of the planet. A place where sunlight never reaches, where pressure is crushing, where no submarine can go. After months of analysis, the sound was classified, then archived, then quietly filed away. NOAA never heard anything like it again. Decades later, the Bloop remains one of the loudest, unexplained sounds ever captured beneath the ocean. Some scientists insist it had to be natural. Others believe the opposite, that somewhere in the darkness, in the crushing black void of the deep, something enormous moved, something alive, something we were never meant to hear. Some stories seem like lies, but reality insists on being even stranger. Which one surprised you the most? Leave your comment. And remember, here at Dark Curiosity Hub, truth always lurks in the shadows.